Oh, hi, everybody. Oh, that no fun sign is just such a disaster because they did it. I didn't ask them to do that cutout thing. I hate it. Anyway, I just keep it on my bar at home permanently. So there you go. Anyway, so you all seemed interested in doing a Sex in the City chat. So, and just like that, whatever. Just poured myself a glass of wine and so this video that I'm making will be about the first and second episodes because honestly, I'm getting them confused. I mean, from now on, I'll do one episode at a time, but I'll just combine 1 and 2 because I watched them. First of all, I watched them out of order. So there was that. My HBO Max, it's a whole thing. Like, I know the password. It doesn't work on my TV. I don't know what it's doing. It just keeps loading, whatever. So I can only watch it on my iPad, fine. So I watched it the other morning. I was on the treadmill at the gym in my building and I clicked on the picture of the show on the left, but that was the newest episode. It goes like that way. I thought it was going to go left to right. So I click on the first episode. And so again, I think it's the first episode. It's actually the second. And it opens with Brady having sex. I'm like, that's how they open the entire series, is Brady having sex? And I was like, that's fucked up. And I quickly moved past it because then Big dies, Miranda gets the call. And I was like, holy shit, they're doing it in the first episode right away. I'm so stupid that not even once did I go, maybe I'm watching it out of order. Not even once. But I liked that as the first, like just you see him in the, whatever it's called, going by the corners there. Just like, what do I do now? So I'll just take it from now on. I won't like talk about it in individual episodes. I'll just talk about like the overall of it all. So these are my hot takes. I'm not going to get to every single plot point, just things that really stood out to me and what I was thinking at the time. And you guys weigh in. I love reading everyone's take. So first of all, when Carrie's sitting there and she's grieving and she's looking at funeral homes online and Miranda's there because she slept over and she's like, I'm going to make some coffee. And Carrie's like, you have to go to school. Charlotte's on her way and she's like, I'm not leaving you alone, blah, blah, blah. Wait till Charlotte gets here and you don't even want to know what happened to me at school. Again, I still think I'm watching the first episode. She's like, so I'll make some. And Carrie's like, make what? And Charlotte's like, coffee. And in that moment, I was like, yeah, Carrie wasn't even listening. She was looking at the funeral. She's grieving. She hasn't slept. She's out of her mind. And Twitter was like, Carrie has Alzheimer's. They're setting her up to have the beginning of Alzheimer's. And I thought, I didn't get that from that. Although that'd be a cool subplot, I guess. She has early onset Alzheimer's. Like that movie, Something Alice that Julianne Moore was in, which was terrifying. And I don't remember the name because I have early onset Alzheimer's apparently. The only other thing I could think is when you're in perimenopause, which again could be anywhere from age 44 to 55, you do have memory loss. I have it big time. But most people, what menopause actually is, it means you have not had your period in 1 year. And then you'll say, okay, I have gone through menopause. I don't get my period anymore. And yet you might get it like once after that or something. But so I would assume Carrie has not had her period in like 2 or 3. I would assume 52. She went through menopause. Like she's got to be 55, the character. It's supposed to have been 10 years since the second movie, right? She was 40 in the first movie. The second movie was a few years later. Let's say 45, 55. I mean, come on. I hope they don't give me some menopause plot because she's too old for that. But they do this thing with her where she's always the most prudish one. Like she doesn't get naked. She doesn't talk about sex. Like in this second movie or first movie, she wouldn't even say how often she has sex with her fucking boyfriend, Big. It's like, she wouldn't answer the question. It's just like, shut up. Like, don't write a sex column, you fucking weird prude. But anyway, so I feel like Sarah Jessica Parker does the same thing with her age. It's like everyone else, you know, Charlotte's announcing, I'm 55. And they're like, and Carrie as a joke was like, well, I'm 45, ha ha ha. But I'm like, what do you think? We don't notice how old you are? Like, we see it, character and actor. And then, well, I'll get to the Samantha part in a minute. But so I don't know, maybe they're going to do that. Maybe she's just having a fucking nervous breakdown, which I think she is because she didn't cry at the funeral. And then, you know, I think Steve or Harry said to Miranda, she's not crying. She's so strong. That's so great. And Miranda was like, is it? You know. So, all right, hot gossip from my hairdresser. I went to get my roots done in Brooklyn this weekend. And I guess this is a spoiler, but it's not too much of a spoiler. So like fast forward 2 minutes if you don't want to hear it. But my hairdresser's roommate has parents. So my hairdresser's roommate's parents own a store in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. And Sex and the City paid them to film at the store, and they redressed it and made it a lamp store, an antique lamp store. And so my hairdresser and her roommate and the parents got to watch the scenes being filmed. And in the plot, Carrie is returning a lamp because it was a lamp she had at her house with Big, and she thinks he's talking to her through the lamp, and it's haunted, and she wants to get rid of it. And then something happens in the lamp store, and she starts smashing all the lamps and going crazy. And I'm like, that better be true. That sounds amazing. So she's clearly having a breakdown. I'm here for it. Okay, so there's that. And then it's clear they're setting up Miranda to have a drinking problem, which I think is fine. Like, you know, maybe she started drinking a lot in the pandemic. Of course, I didn't notice it in the second episode where she was like at the bar, like, can you hurry up? I thought they were trying to show like older women are rude to wait staff or something. I was like, is this some teachable moment where it's like, be nice to the staff? You know, these women over 50, they're just so rude, you know, or some ageism bullshit like that or whatever. Or she was like nervous to speak or just being Miranda, you know. And then when I watched the other episode, I was like, oh, she's bringing wine to the recital. I mean, who wouldn't though? All of her drinking so far is, but I get it. They're setting the table. And that's fine if she ends up an alcoholic, like, great. But it's just, there's all these inconsistencies with her character where she's like, Carrie, I draw the line at listening to podcasts. I get that every one of these characters has a moment where they just won't participate in whatever the new thing is. I mean, they did it back in the series. You know, Carrie was like, email, can Aiden see me if I'm emailing him? Like, I don't understand it. And I don't know, and Miranda was like, Brooklyn, I'm not moving there. Well after, like, it was already totally a thing to live in Brooklyn. So I get, everyone's like, I think she would totally listen to podcasts. She'd be listening to NPR. I'm like, yeah, but she'd probably just listen to NPR live. Like, I don't know if she'd be into podcasts. Like, even if she was, she wouldn't be into like podcasts about sex or, you know, like hosted by young people. I mean, why would anyone listen to Carrie's podcast? If you're actually friends with, like, my friends don't listen to No Fun. It would be fucking weird if they did. It's like, I'll just tell you about my life. And especially, why would they listen to Carrie's? Because you think they give a shit about Bobby Lee and what's her dick? Che there? Like, these are grown women, you know? So I don't think it's that crazy. You might listen once to get a sense of it and be supportive, but like, I have friends who listen to my anxiety podcast, but that makes more sense because they're listening to me interview someone and they want to hear what that person has to say, but whatever. So, okay, then the whole podcasting thing, I'm like, whatever they're doing, that's not a podcast. It's like set up like a radio show, and like the producer guy is like laughing. He's like so into it. It's like, nobody's laughing. I mean, there are producers who laugh out loud, but usually they laugh out loud. Like, you hear the producer laughing. That's a staple of radio. It's also a staple of podcasting. But he also was just like way too into it. And I was like, I just actually think Carrie would have her own podcast where she talks by herself, and she'd have a little assistant that comes to the house and sets it up for her. And she would do her column as a podcast. Like, the fact that she's with these two bozos. I mean, Bobby Lee's fine. Like, I know him from comedy, whatever. Maybe I'm slightly jealous. I like used to love Bobby, but I'm not like that into him anymore because he rolls with that like Brian Callen, Chris D'Elia, Rogan crew, and I'm like, I don't really trust him. And then that woman Che, I was kind of jealous of her at first, but then I read she's not a real. I thought she was like some New York stand-up that was like making it big, and it's like she's already an accomplished actress and like isn't a comedian at all. I'm like, oh, good, good. No more comedians becoming actors, please. So, but yeah, I'm just like, none of this is a podcast. And where she's like, step up your pussy. It's like, not everything younger people do is right. And you don't, like, if you're going to be like, hey, you can't just sit there and giggle and not talk about masturbation. It's like, okay, fine. But this is Carrie fucking Bradshaw. Like, she walked so you could fly. She wrote about sex in her column. You're doing a podcast about sex because she brought talking about sex out into the open. Like, just for the sake of this show, let's just say that. And it's like, don't be like, step up your pussy. Like, you can't, if you're going to act so professional about a podcast and be like, excuse me, there's a way we do this podcast that really is a radio show, then you don't say step up your pussy to your elder. I don't know. It was annoying to me. And I'm like, what am I, fucking Republican suddenly? But I just didn't like it. So I was texting with my friend Chris Frangiola, and he thinks Carrie's going to date the podcast producer guy. And I was like, oh, good call. I didn't even see that coming. He's like, yeah, they just like had the camera on him for way too long for no reason. Like, obviously, and he's cute. He's going to be love interest. I was like, that's true. Okay, so then I did really like the scene where Miranda was chastising Che for letting Brady smoke pot. I thought that was cool. I'm so glad they didn't make it about race, like where it's like, oh my God, I'm a white woman and I'm so embarrassed. I thought this, I don't know what her race is, but non-white woman was, like it was just more like a, who are you, adult woman giving my child, pot at a funeral. That was cool. It all made sense. And then I really love Che's acting. I forget her name in real life, and you're like, oh, there's a chemistry between them. Is Miranda going to realize she's a lesbian, obviously, or bisexual or fluid or whatever? Is it going to be with Che, though? And then my prediction is she will start listening to Carrie's podcast to be supportive, and she'll be intrigued with what Che is saying about, when I came out or non-binary or blah, blah, Miranda's going to be like, that's what I am. Like, I think she's going to have her mind open and she's going to, like, fall in love with listening to her, blah, blah. They're already setting up. I saw, like, a trailer where she's like, Steve and I are just, like, roommates who eat ice cream. And it's like, yeah, that's why he cheated on you the first time. You better fucking apologize to him if you realize you're not in love with him, because you never liked having sex with him except when you first met. So I'm pro Steve. What are they doing to Steve with the fucking hearing aids? Like, are we trying to just have like every race and every disability and every sexual orientation? That's fine. But, okay, so now if we're adding like, okay, Steve now needs hearing aids because my dad's 80 and needs hearing aids, but he just started needing them like 2 years ago. Like, it's not like, oh, you're 55, time to get hearing aids. It's not totally a thing. More like glasses, But okay, so he's got hearing aids now. Can they work? Because they don't. And he's like, what? Like, why are you doing that to him? Either the hearing aids work or they don't. Or get some that work. But don't make him act like some addled old man. Steve's fucking hot. He's a cat. He needs to get away. Miranda's just like brought his life down so much. I can't even take it. Harry looked good. I thought he looked good. He looked like he lost a little weight. Not that you need to, but like there's something like more streamlined and kind of sexy about him. I feel bad for the men in the show because they totally have no life except that like Harry's just like, hello, I'm Harry. I'm supportive and don't make our daughter wear a dress. Oh, okay, well, whatever you say, make her wear it then. Okay, bye. And I guess like if the point, and I guess this was always the point of the show, which is like, it's about the women, and there's plenty of shows about men where the women are just accessories, and like with Love, the men are just accessories on this show. It's fine, but these are good guys, and I'm kind of interested in their life, so I'd like to see more of Steve and Harry's life before we start adding in all these new people. Okay, so then Miranda and her professor. This is what makes me crazy, is I'm all for characters like examining their white privilege. This is a real thing we all went through. But you gotta do it in a way, like they're doing in a way that, in my opinion, still doesn't respect Black people. So let me put it this way. When Miranda's Black professor cannot get through security simply because she doesn't have her ID, and the security guard, it's not a racial thing. He's just like, I don't care I don't know who anyone fucking is. I need the ID. Don't care. Don't care that you come in here every day. I don't notice. I'm some idiot. You know, Miranda's like, how dare you not let her through? And, you know, the woman gets through and she's like, look, don't do that white savior thing. I know you thought you were defending me and you thought there was some racism going on, but what you were really doing was escalating a situation. And Miranda's like, oh my God, I learned something. But you're still making the Black woman do the what's called emotional labor of explaining that to Miranda. And I know we don't have a million hours in the day, but what would be more realistic is if she just looked at Miranda and was like, it's all good. And Miranda was like, I can't believe that happened. And she's like, mm-hmm. And then later is out with her Black friends. Is like, these fucking white people, like, oh, did you get white savior? You know I did. Oh my God. And then she thought, she's like, that's just, sometimes the security guard is just a stupid dick. She's like, I know, listen, I don't want to fucking do the emotional labor of explaining it to this white woman. Like, that would be better. Like, but no, now she's going to explain it. Then they have another scene where Miranda's like, was that a white savior move? And it's just like, can you have conversations about anything else? Like, this is not really how real life goes. Like, in real life, Miranda, the Black woman, would have talked about it with her friends, men like fucking white people. And then Miranda would have told the story to someone else, like, and I'm learning about racism. And you know, maybe her kids or Brady, you know, I don't know if he's talking to, yeah, his mom. He'd be like, Mom, you just did the white savior thing. And she's like, what? You know, whatever. And then she could go back to the woman and be like, I white saviored you yesterday. I just learned what that is. And you were, you know, I'm so sorry. And she's just like, yeah, it's fine. But like, I hate when it's like, okay, we'll bring some Black people into the show, but they're only going to talk about racism to white people. They're only going to be teaching. And it's like, ugh. Give the woman some fucking Black friends. Or have her and Miranda talk about anything else. I'm sure it'll end up getting there. Then Charlotte's got a new Black friend who so far, has no identity of her own except to be like, I love French fries. Way too long of a conversation about French fries. And then in some of the trailers I've seen, Charlotte's like, I just want to do life perfectly. And she's saying some best friend, Black woman, fucking, you know, once again, giving advice to white women. I'm just like, do it right if you're going to do it. Anyway. Not that Black women can't give advice to white women, but then do it back equally so it looks like a real friendship. Ay, ay, ay. Anyway, so there's that. So then we got Charlotte's unfortunate fillers in her face. And I don't want to make fun of it because I think you just don't know what your face is going to look like. Like, I feel like you just don't know what your face looks like anymore. And I hope I don't get there and that doesn't happen to me, but it could, I guess, you know. I don't do fillers. I don't need them because I've got kind of a not a chubby face, but my face is perfectly filled because I'm about 15 pounds over my normal weight. And I've got these big cheekbones, but I don't have fillers. I've had Botox in my forehead before. I do it about once a year because I have this big line and I just do it on the line. But I want to be able to move my forehead. But you can see, like, that's about 5 months old. But I just put my band, you know, but that's it. I haven't done anything else. So it's like, I don't know. But I'm just like, oh God, the fillers. But, yeah, okay. So there's that. Big, I'm a big fan of Mr. Big. I wasn't like, I didn't watch the show when it was originally on. I don't know what that has to do with anything, but I wasn't wrapped up in their romance. Like, I didn't feel swept away by them. I didn't feel like it was the most romantic thing in the world, but I believed the story they were telling, that they're like, well, it is for her. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, if that's what she is into, that's great. And, you know, I don't like Aiden. He's secretly the worst. You don't be like, I can't date a smoker on the first date. Calm yourself. And he was just always trying to change her. And what I liked about Big is even though he wasn't into commitment and, you know, he wasn't always trustworthy, he never tried to change Carrie. Like, even the times when she went ape shit on him, which she always did, like screaming at him, calling him, and just, he would always just be like, what are you doing? Like, he was never like, you're crazy, or, you know, I can't be with someone as emotional as you. I mean, she, at one point, drew her own conclusion that that's why he picked someone like Natasha, because she's kind of like beige and boring and quiet, and she's like, there's a wild horse, but eventually that's what he liked about Carrie. It wasn't even like, I guess I'll put up with it. It was like, I want that, you know, and it took him a while to come around and whatever. But I'm like, oh, once they were together, I'm like, I totally trust him, you know, and he's like probably the only character I'd actually want to hang out with. Like, how fun would it be to go to fucking dinner and have a like fucking glass of wine and a salmon with Big? And then he'll take you to like a jazz club after and maybe do some Frank Sinatra karaoke. I mean, he is just an easy breezy guy. Like, take me to that vineyard, buddy, that you got in Napa. And then, you know, I love the scene where they're like listening to records at the house and he's got his, you know, 70s music. Like, oh, right up my alley. Right up my alley. So I'm sad that he's gone. And everyone's like, oh, we can't just watch a TV show about their relationship. I'm like, oh, see, I could. You could go through all those records and just, every scene is just Big singing in the kitchen, chopping vegetables, making wine. I'll watch that show. So I'm pro Big. I'm like bummed that he's dead. I don't really care if Carrie's dating again. Like, I don't want to see the dating app episode. I don't know why. I mean, I just don't. But by the way, I love this show, and this is not a hate watch for me. I cannot critique things that I don't truly love. Okay, so then let's get to, who else didn't, so we have to get to Samantha. So, okay. Totally blame Lily, Charlotte's kid, that Big died. She also ruined the wedding. Remember that? When she picked up the phone and Big was trying to call her. Poor kid. Anyway, I'm like half kidding, but not. So I thought it was totally absurd that you would ask your friends to come to your daughter's piano recital. I know it was like, no, it's the Manhattan School of Music, and that's like the joke that it's not even really like, and I get it. Like, it's a fucking TV show about a bunch of friends. You got, as a writer, I'm like, no, yet they all have to go. But in real life, as someone who took piano and was quite good, it would have been absurd if my mother's friends came to my recital. Like, no. Even my sisters didn't come to my fucking piano recital. All right, so then okay, so everyone's like, why didn't Carrie call 911? I totally get it. Just from the writer, okay, there's two things I get. From the writer's perspective, you just want this moment unencumbered by reality. Like, I truly believe he hung on until he could see her so he could die looking at her. And she came home and he looked up and that's when his eyes went dead. He died looking at her. And I guess you could bring someone back to life if you did CPR or get out the defibrillator in your closet. But the paramedics are not going to fucking get there in time. Maybe 5 minutes. I don't think he could. He had like the widowmaker heart attack. Like, he's done, you know. And I think she just wanted to, I don't know what she was doing, but at one point she did have her mouth on his. I was like, is she kissing him one last time? Or is she doing mouth to mouth? The kissing part would be weird. You know, if you're going to put your mouth on someone, you might as well do mouth to mouth. But the writer in me, sitting in that room, I'd be like, guys, it's going to be all over Twitter. Why didn't she call 911? It's going to be the new Rose pushed him off the door Titanic. It's gonna make me crazy. Like, in real life, I would have had her be like, John, and I would have had her call 911 as she was with him. I'd be like, come quickly. And then just like, we're on the way. And then she's just like, and just like that, Big died. I don't know why they couldn't do both. But I do believe that nothing would have changed had she called 911. And I guess that was kind of the point. What I don't get is, like, she sees him smoking his once a week cigar and she's not nagging him. Like, that's where I'd be like, you had a heart attack years ago, or you had a heart thing. You're not smoking. I'm no once a week cigar. And I would have made him wear a life alert bracelet. My husband would have to wear a life alert bracelet. And that nitroglyceride pill or whatever, he's got to have it right next to him on the Peloton. I mean, these are things you do as a wife. So I'm just saying, I've been a wife, and well, I won't go there. But what else? Oh, lastly, Samantha. Most important. Samantha is my favorite character, not because of all the sex and all the puns, but because she is the only good friend on the show. And I will write a thesis on it. I will do a TED Talk. I'll come to your house and fight you physically with any disagreement you have. And they did her so dirty, and it didn't make sense. Okay, so you know my theory is that what they should have done is, I know they had to not have Kim on the show. I don't think they needed to go into exploring when friendships end. They could, and they could do it a different way. So this is my pitch, and this has been my pitch since last year. Samantha was in New Zealand at the beginning of COVID on business. Maybe Smith was filming some kind of movie there and she was doing the publicity as she does. Or, you know, she's doing publicity for any of those movies that film in New Zealand. She gets stuck there because of COVID. Doesn't want to leave even when she gets the opportunity because there's no fucking COVID there. And so basically, this is true. In real life, the billionaire class are buying compounds in New Zealand because they believe it's going to be the last place on earth to be ravaged by climate change, even though it's going to be a matter of weeks. But whatever, they have a thing with New Zealand, and it's not going to be nuked or something like that. So I could see her getting into that lifestyle, you know, and being like, I bought a compound. Like, she's not an end of the world, like, hoarder or anything, but she's just like, maybe she's dating a billionaire. Like, she bought a place in New Zealand. Like, it's fabulous. You can, between here in Los Angeles and, you know, whatever. And because of the time difference, the girls and her don't get to chat as often, and they're starting to grow apart. That's a natural story to tell. And so that way you can be like, hey, did you hear from Samantha? You know, I couldn't sleep last night. Maybe Miranda's saying this. I couldn't sleep last night, and she called me, and I picked up, and it was great. We FaceTimed. She doesn't call me. Well, you know, she did call me. I missed it or something. Like, but you can get the same thing that you're getting from, I keep texting her, she won't write me back. Like, you just can. And it doesn't do her dirty, and it gives her the opportunity to come back if she wants. And again, you can still explore, like, we're growing apart. Like, nothing bad happened, we're growing apart, which I think is actually more interesting because we've all grown apart from people we have no reason for, and you almost can't believe it's happening because they were once such a big part of your life. Like, really? Can a pandemic and a move really just affect friendship? Is friendship just based on the convenience of New York? I mean, you see the storylines, you see the thought. Okay, so then the fact that they're like, oh, Carrie told her you can't be my publicist anymore because of the book industry. Two things. One, Carrie was never paying for Samantha's services. All throughout the show, Samantha did her PR for free because Carrie had no money. Carrie didn't become rich until the first movie when she became a best-selling author. And then, you know, rich because she and Big were married, and she's got a piece of that sweet finance money. So there's no world where Samantha's mad that Carrie fired her, but there's no world where Carrie fired her because I'm an author. The book industry sucks. Nobody buys books. You need a publicist more than ever when you're an author. And especially as you're getting older and you're a white woman straight in these times when like we're getting more diverse, like you need a publicist more than ever to push your work. And it's Samantha could be like, honey, what you need to do is, Oprah needs to recommend your book. Whatever. I'm just saying it's just a bullshit thing. Like I told Samantha, like the industry's changing. Oh, Samantha would know that before you. Samantha would actually fire you and be like, honey, we don't do things this way anymore. It's all about social media. And Samantha Jones Enterprises has a whole social media company. We'll do TikTok, and Carrie's like, Tick what? She's like, you don't have to know what it is. You just have to be fabulous. We'll handle everything. You'll be making memes. And she's like, memes? I'd rather make mimosas. And she's like, Samantha would have handled everything, and Carrie has money to pay. And Samantha at this point wouldn't even be doing the PR like she's some janky ass fucking lower level person. She's running the empire that's now global. And, her social media department is doing, and by the way, Samantha could do publicity for this fucking dumb podcast. She could do all the socials for it. My publicist does the social media for my podcast. And I don't have, my publicist is amazing, but she's my friend and she lives here in New York. I'm like, literally consult me because this is my life. Catherine's my friend. I met her because she was my publicist. Then we became close friends. She knows I don't have a ton of money and she charges me per project. She's not on hold. I don't pay her. Some people pay their publicist $30,000 a month to just be a publicist. I don't have that kind of life. I'm not in the tabloids or, so I pay her a couple hundred per project for each little thing she does. And she does all the socials for my anxiety podcast. And it's this just doesn't make any sense. What you guys wrote is literally just not true. So why are you doing that? And it's just going to exacerbate the beef that Kim has with SJP. Also, one of the things that Kim Cattrall said was in the second movie, she hated that her character's only quality was, I'm getting old, I'm going through menopause, I'm spreading yams all over my body. And she's like, I'm only fucking 5 years older than the rest of these women. What the fuck? So this character comes up to Carrie out of the blue and is like, have you heard from Samantha? She's in London. Oh, even sexy sirens over 60 do well in London. It's Samantha does well anywhere, sexually and otherwise, because she's Samantha. But do you have to mention that she's 60? She's not even on the fucking show. And yet you gotta do her dirty like that and say she's 60. Not that there's anything wrong with being 60, but I think SJP has something up her ass about age and sex. So anyway, I'm just if I were Kim Cattrall, I'd be like, oh, really? Oh, that's what you made it seem like I was the worst friend of all and I won't talk to any of you because I'm mad at Carrie? What? I would be like, oh, I was thinking of maybe coming back, but y'all are just bitches, And SJP is a producer. She has complete creative control over the scripts. I know this for a fact because I know the people that work at her production company. It's just, didn't like. As a Samantha fan, I am deeply offended. And as someone who is a writer, I'm like, guys, none of what you're saying is true. And as someone who's literally an author with a publicist in New York, no, you are wrong. And a podcast, an actual podcast that isn't 3 people sitting in a studio on microphones. I mean, I guess people do that, but it was just the way it was being run felt more like a radio show. It's so annoying. I hate that podcast. I hate it so bad and whatever. Okay, so that's my thoughts. Anyone else? What are your conspiracy theories? And the Peloton thing, there's all these articles, an article in the New York Times, I didn't read it, just saw the headline that was could Peloton have sued Sex and the City for doing that? I love the Peloton ad with Big. I thought that was so funny and smart and cool. My only thing would be the whole thing was planned the whole time. It is interesting the stock went down. I could see that they whipped that ad up super quick. And they probably did. I don't know. Either way, it was brilliant. And, it's the stock goes down. That doesn't mean people stop buying it. It means stocks are predictors. So it's just when something's talked about negatively, literally the stock goes down. So I don't know if that actually hurts their sales, but I guess when the stock goes down, it does hurt something. Don't ask me. What am I, Wall Street? I only know about podcast publicity. So there are my thoughts. Weigh in below, but be nice. Be nice. I do love this show. And, be nice to the show. You can be mean to me. I don't give a shit. But yeah, theories, thoughts, agree, disagree. Let's chat it up without the riffraff from the public getting in here. Okay. And then I'll come back about episode 3 when I can. Bye.